Verstappen led Sergio Perez to a Red Bull 1-2 at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix after Ferrari suffered a disastrous afternoon that saw both Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz retire with engine failures. After ending up on a different strategy following a virtual safety car that was triggered by Sainz's retirement on lap 9, Verstappen and Leclerc set for another tight battle for victory, only for the other Ferrari to suffer the same fate when leading on lap 20. From there it turned out to be a procession for Red Bull, with Perez, who led into the first corner after passing Leclerc off the line, unable to match Verstappen's pace on the Baku street circuit. The victory sees Verstappen extended the World Championship lead to 21 points, with Perez, who took an additional point for setting the fastest lap, overtaking Leclerc for second, with the Monegasque further 13 points back. In a Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead over Ferrari now grows to over 80 points. So yeah, Red Bull looking in a great position in both titles. But anyway, George Russell maintained his record of finishing in the top 5 at every race in his debut season at Mercedes. He secured another podium, while teammate Lewis Hamilton battled back through pain caused by his bouncing car to climb to 4th. Pierre Gasly was 5th for AlphaTauri, with Sebastian Vettel in 6th for Aston Martin. Both Alpine drivers scored points, with Fernando Alonso 7th and Esteban Ocon in 10th, while Daniel Ricciardo came out on top of a race-long duel with Lando Norris as he finished in 7th and Norris came in 8th. As if seeing their own cars retire was not bad enough, there was also what happened to be engine-related retirements for the Ferrari-powered cars of Haas, Kevin Magnussen and Alfa Romeo Zhou Guanyu. The outcome saw Leclerc fail to convert pole into victory for a 4th successive race, with the Ferrari driver now having gone 5 races without a win, often appearing to have the speed to beat Red Bulls, but not the reliability on this occasion. It was Leclerc's second retirement from the league, with an engine failure in 3 races, with a strategy error in between Monaco, having seen him lose track position to the Red Bulls. Leclerc's hopes of ending the streak on Sunday were immediately dented as he was passed by Sergio Perez off the line and nearly lost another place to Verstappen after a heavy lock-up into the first corner. Despite the Red Bull going straight to line speed, Leclerc was able to hold Verstappen off in the early stages until a hydraulic failure for Sainz on lap 9 saw his Ferrari teammate Ottopet under the VSE appearing to shift into a 2-stop strategy. Verstappen then stayed out quickly and closed down Perez to take the lead, with the Mexican ordered not to fight his team, with Verstappen clearly quicker. Perez's lack of pace was somewhat surprising following a brilliant performance to win in Monaco last time and an impressive showing throughout practice and qualifying in Baku. Leclerc regained the lead when Verstappen pitted on lap 18, with their differing strategies appearing to just set up an intriguing battle. However, just 2 laps later, smoke began to blow from the back of the Ferrari, leaving the distraught driver to make his way back to the pits. From there, Verstappen comfortably extended his advantage over Perez, with a later VSC caused by Magnussen's retirement, giving the Red Bull the opportunity to stop both cars for fresh tyres as they eliminated the chance of a repeat of last year, which saw a tyre failure for the Dutchman when he had a commanding lead. While there was emotional pain for Ferrari, the problems were more physical for Mercedes as Russell and Hamilton overcame extreme discomfort to secure a strong point haul for the Silver Arrows. Russell had a quiet afternoon as he took advantage of the Ferrari's DNF to cruise into third, but Hamilton had to fight his way through the midfield to seal 4th. Despite fears expressed before the race by Mercedes boss Toto Wolff that Hamilton would struggle to complete 51 laps due to back pain, the 7-time world champion produced a series of overtakes to aim 4th. Fresher tyres enabled him to overcome a lack of straight line speed as he put moves on Ocon, Ricciardo, Tsunoda and Gasly. Hamilton said afterwards he'd been praying for it to end, while not for the first time this season. Toto Wolff apologised for the condition of the car that Hamilton had to drive. For Russell, he maintained his record as the only driver to finish in the points at every race this season, as the 24-year-old secured the 3rd podium of the season, what's been a highly impressive debut campaign with the team. I was pretty pleased to see the race coming to a close, but you're just smashing the ground every single corner for a lap and a half. It's pretty beautiful, said Russell, who closed his deficit to Leclerc in the standings to just 17 points, which is pretty incredible. I'm pleased to be standing on the podium, and as a team we've got to pick up the pieces. But with just a few days to go until the next race at the Canadian Grand Prix, there'll be major fear of Ferrari further ending issues. After speaking to the media after his retirement, Charles Leclerc seemed pretty distraught and urged his team to prevent their reliability gremlins from playing a factor once more. It hurts. We really need to look into that for it not to happen again. I really can't find the right words to describe this. He said it's very, very disappointing. We really need to look into it. Mattia Binotto was unable to offer a huge amount of reassurance, explaining the team would need to identify the problem before discovering whether or not a quick fix is possible. As a team, we pushed a lot through the winter last year to develop cars. We've got to be prove that we're not fully reliable and there's still work to be done. We need to stay patient, analyse and understand, he said. And yes, speaking of the Canadian Grand Prix, there's not long to go now, it's just next week. So yeah, it'll be intriguing to see if Ferrari can resolve their issues. And before I go, let me run you through the finishing order. And of course, it was again another Red Bull 1-2. And yeah, I mean, like Red Bull, they had those reliability gremlins earlier in the season, but you know, they've seemed to have ended now. And Verstappen, yeah, just brilliant today. Back to his best, really, after a disappointing few sessions, probably by his standards. Perez in second, I think it's people have said it, it's what celebrates the good drivers from the great drivers. They can do it consistently. Perez, yeah, it just wasn't his day, you know, but you know, still second, very good result. Russell in third, his impressive start to his Merc campaign continues, really good performance. Hamilton in fourth, yeah, he looked in a lot of pain after the race. I'm just glad that he was able to complete the race. And in fourth, having to come through back on midfield after another probably questionable strategy by Mercedes. That's a good job from him, really good job. Moving on then to fifth, Gasly, yeah, after the heartbreak in Monaco where he really should have scored points, that's a very good result for them. And Vettel, for me, started the day, I know he made that mistake, but you know, that was still a really good performance. Aston Martin seems to be finding some momentum now. Alonso in seventh, yeah, good result. That Alpine was just rapid in a straight line, but you know, they'll be very happy with that. I think Alonso starting to eradicate some of his bad luck, it seems. Ricciardo in eighth, Norris in ninth. For Ricciardo, that's a much needed result, much improved, and hopefully he can do it on a more consistent basis now. Norris in ninth, to be honest, I didn't really quite get what he's going on about, where he should be allowed to race Ricciardo at the end when Ricciardo wasn't allowed to for most of the race. But you know, ninth, disappointing maybe not to come ahead of Ricciardo. But you know, not bad. I don't think McLaren really played the strategy right. It should have just let the fast driver through. But you know, it is what it is. Ocon in 10th, when he compares to Alonso is, he may be disappointed. But you know, it's still a point, so not too much to complain about. Bottas in 11th, yeah, he had quite a poor weekend to be honest by his standards so far this season. Didn't look like getting into the points. And yeah, just seemed quite far off really. So yeah, hopefully he'll bounce back, because to be honest, for a lot this weekend he was slower than Joe, which isn't really good at all, is it? And then yeah, you got Albon in 12th. Once again, he had a decent weekend by that Williams standards, because that is a bit of a dog, that Williams, really, isn't it? Sonoda in 13th, heartbreaking thing, because he would have been on for a really good points finish. For me, I don't really know why he needed to come in. I mean, like, it seems like it would have been fine just to me, just to continue running but not use DRS, but you know, it is what it is. Schumacher in 14th, yeah, once again was quite a way off Magnussen, before he had to retire. So, you know, another disappointing weekend for Schumacher, has to be said. Latifi 15th, yeah, kind of similar story to Schumacher, really, just miles off their teammate and slow and get 10-second time penalty. Stop go before the race even started. Yeah, it's just not great, is it? Stroll, yeah, he did have to retire, but even he was miles off Vettel, who was a star of today for me. So, yeah, really disappointing. Magnussen and Joe, both unlucky, because both have really good pace, and Joe could have been on for points. Joe's just been getting really unlucky recently, and Magnussen too, you'd have to say. And then the Ferraris, yeah, we've just been through it. It seems like it's happening again with Ferrari. They're imploding again. I beg it doesn't happen, but really at this point I wouldn't be surprised if we see Red Bull domination for the rest of the season, to be honest. Anyway guys, that's that video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, any thoughts, comments down below, follow the description for daily F1 news, and subscribe to my channel, and that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace!